Hey there, good morning.
Hi. I stopped over at the farm because I still had a few boxes over at the farmhouse, so I was just going to pick them up, take them to my storage unit that I have now. But I also wanted to talk with Matt about this exercise bike I hear he has, and if he's not using it, then I want to see if I can use it because I need to get back in better shape.
It's a beautiful day.
It sure is.
Sitting here trying to figure out how I'm gonna plant that berm.
Why are you creating a berm?
Just to create privacy for new owners of this property. I'm in go-go mode, trying to get the house ready to sell. A berm is just simply a mound of dirt that you plant trees on or put rocks on. So if somebody buys that, they don't have a direct line of sight to the house I'm gonna build.
Well, I tell you, this whole land thing, man,
The whole what?
this whole farm,
Oh, it's a rat
the
race.
negotiation, everything. I mean, it's changing before our eyes. I don't get it. You really created a hornet's nest.
That's just a hornet's
You know?
nest, yeah.
I mean,
One way to describe it.
it's sad that it really ended up the way it did because, I don't know, there's just a lot of stress. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of like, what in the world did you do? Like, what happened? How did we get here? I'm still sad that one of the kids don't have it.
I don't know, yeah.
Well, I think you went crazy or something. I don't know the details of the negotiations of what you dealt with the two boys. Like, for the price of this, the kids can't afford that.
No, there's a family price. They all know it.
But the thing is, man, you got this, a 2-year-old appraisal is what I sold it for. I never expected it to be as much as this ad.
Nobody expected them.
No, offering it to the kids. I thought you would be,
No, I'm...
you know, a little more reasonable.
Well, the kids are getting... What they don't like is the fact that it shrunk. You know, we shrunk the property size. A lot of the two boys didn't like that. But, you know, I got to think about all 4 kids. There's 4 kids involved. And so what's fair, you know, at the end when the big piece is, you know, in an estate, what's the fairest thing you could possibly do? You know what? The good news is there's 93 acres in this family. I mean...
No, there's 93 acres for Matt Roloff.
Okay, well, there you
It's
go.
not part of the family anymore. Growing up, you created this image in them, and unfortunately, that's a lot harder to let go because it's inbred. It's part of, you know, who they are.
I expected the kids to, you know, to not take entitlement, but to take, you know, start working for it.
But Matt, you got to understand, there's a lot that has...
But Matt, you gotta understand, you gotta say that 100 times. It wasn't like I didn't try to sell to the kids at a basically half off family discount, but I'm glad that even with all that, they made other decisions because I don't think the fit was quite right. You know, if the kids had gotten it, I would be stuck maintaining it, almost, you know, maybe even harder than I do now.
You don't admit to anything.
I do.
You don't.
Oh.
Part of this, I would say the majority of this hornet's nest, unfortunately, you need to accept lays on your shoulders.
Okay, well, I'm taking responsibility, so.
But you're taking responsibility of not creating a
I'm gonna say,
legacy
there's
that you
a lot
talked with
going
all
on.
of this time.
There's a lot going on that you don't know about.
All right.
So this
Where's the exercise
conversation's
bike?
out of context.
Where's the exercise
Back of the
bike?
mule over there.
All right, got it. So I'm sure there was a lot that I did not know, what went on in the discussions between Matt and his boys. But it also partly reminds me of my marriage life to him. Over the years, I have felt in the dark.
Everything's my fault, so, you know, I mean, it's crazy. Amy's holding on to animosity, and that's her business. That's her burden to carry. That's her baggage to carry. That's not my baggage. I don't have to own that. And It's not my feelings. I feel like everything was great and things were great. Now it's time to move to the next chapter and flip a page, just like she got to do. She got to flip a page, sell, take a bunch of money, move on, get remarried. So now it's my turn to flip a page. And I think it's very simple.
Because negotiations are tough.
They're not that tough.
They are with you.
You know, I negotiate hundreds of vendor deals all the time. Nobody says that, but I understand.
Because you know why? That's
I understand.
100% business. When you're negotiating with your own kids or your wife at the time or ex-wife, you've got to put an element of personal in it because it is personal, and that's hard.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Yep.
So I think this played heavy on those kids because they realize it's business, but they don't want to be looked at as some nobody vendor either.
It's the feeling of entitlement that it ruins it.
What do you mean entitlement? I don't get it. What you mean by that?
Expectation that they're going to get it for free. They're not going to do the work. They're not going to do the effort.
But do what work? If you're negotiating, selling something, who cares what work they do?
Well, it was
that's not yours.
It was the entitlement along the way.
When the kids were at what age?
Since the beginning of time. I mean, you go around and see all the broken windows and the broken doors and the broken stuff. There was a lot of just, you know, I know the kids were trying to have fun, but they tore the out of the place. And, you know, that weighed on me.
You can't blame that on the kids. I remember you coming to me, our kids are so spoiled, they're so spoiled. I'm like, that's not their fault. Kids don't become spoiled.
I tried to be
They're not born spoiled.
No, I tried to be the disciplinary. I tried to tell them they can't drop soda cans, a trail of soda cans.
Who's buying them ATV bikes every time they turn around too? So don't blame it on me.
Well, they didn't, yeah, well.
You know,
okay.
It's both of us, Matt. But you still can't
well, I've talked
deal with them as
I've talked a lot about my mistakes. So have you talked about your mistakes?
Yeah, I have.
Amy likes to live in the past. I think she, you know, has a tendency to like, you know, well, this should have been different or that should have been different. I mean, I say I made some mistakes and I mean that. You know, I try to just move on and be positive. I think maybe by getting rid of the farm and having that decision behind, maybe it'll open up some opportunities to heal. Yeah, I like to think so. All right, let's get this bike over there.
From my perspective, I find it a little hard because I don't see really any kind of ownership on Matt's part for his part in all of this. It's very difficult to go into a situation like this and suddenly look at your boys as if they're just an ABC vendor and not the face of your sons. What we view as Roloff Farms and the family property is no more. It's just sad.
Today I'm, you know, making sure that the for sale sign is up and visible to everybody. Well, you know, in some ways it's bittersweet. I guess in a lot of ways, for me, it's sort of a weird mixture of excitement and sadness. Here we go, my friend. Okay. You know, I mean, this process has been going on for quite a while now, and you know, it's been filled with some emotions and angst. And I have to be fair to all 4 kids. How's that? Yep, good, perfect. This is definitely not the most popular decision with the family, and I mean, I say I made some mistakes, and I mean that. One of my big mistakes was misleading the kids that this was just gonna be a given, and that it wasn't gonna be something you had to earn or work for. But they're not here every day, you know, saddled with the work and the bills. You gotta love to be on your mower. My kids have all moved on, have wonderful lives and growing families and homes, and so it wasn't meant to be. 32 years ago when we bought this farm, I knew that one day that this day would come, that it would be time. And as sad as it is time. The gravity of the situation may not have hit me yet. You know, my sadness may come later. The farm has, you know, been where we've hosted all the birthdays and the weddings and the celebrations. You know, so I know that selling even part of the farm is tough. I'm hoping at some point everybody gets over their frustrations or their anger, and it's a place that everybody can enjoy as a family. There's a lot of Roloff Farm still left for the family to enjoy.